All right. Let's talk about common trading problems. Okay. We all have the same ones, honestly. There's a reason why people suck at trading because we're all humans. We all do similar stuff. We all have the same problems. All right. So let's talk about those. We'll do like 5 of them. There's endless ones, but we'll do like 5. So let's start with this one. I'm always getting stopped out, and then price goes in my direction. Yeah, I bet, dude. Happens to a lot of people. So before I kind of break that down, do you have an understanding of liquidity? If you don't, you should watch like the 2 videos I made on liquidity, 3 videos, something like that. I have videos on liquidity. Just watch them. But either way, price tends to consolidate, do some kind of liquidity grab and go, right? So if you are trading anywhere in here, you're taking longs and you're putting your stop here where everyone puts their stop and then you're getting rinsed out and then price goes. And it might be even uglier. It might be some like crazy thing like this and like you're already long and then price just takes out the low and then goes, right? Because your stop is here. A few things, right? One, you could make a rule that you aren't entering any positions until you see that liquidity grab. And then you start looking for entries up in here, right? Or on this break or whatever it is. So you could make yourself a rule like that. The other thing is, what's your position size like? Are you positioning so that your stop has to be super tight? Because there's a lot of problems that sizing down fixes. Okay. If you have to put your stop here, and you're risking $50, if you just like cut your size in half, you can widen the heck out of your stop, brother. And look at, it didn't get you, and that sucks because we all do want to make, $1 billion on a trade every time. $1,000. I want to trade minis. I want to make $1,000 a trade. Guess what, dude? It's probably not going to happen. Okay. Especially if you're an amateur. Well, you're a trader that's trading like a prop firm like Apex or Top Step or whatever, or you're just starting trading or you've only been trading. Or if you're watching this video, you shouldn't be trading minis at all. You should be trading micros. You should be risking small amounts per trade, right? So size down. It helps so much. And are you putting stops, directly on wick lows all the time? Are you putting your stop on this wick low and then you're getting rinsed out and then it's going? Just give stuff room. If you would normally put your stop here, just give it a little bit more room. And you're only going to do this if you're sizing down. Sizing down. You're not going to do this with your normal size and then increase your risk. Don't do that. You have to have that defensive mentality. Okay. And this is all, honestly, you should have a system in place, right? You should already know exactly what you're doing. But if your system's pretty good and it has pretty good stats, but you find that you just kind of keep getting wicked out, and I would just size down and widen that up a little bit, buddy. It's going to help you big time. Big time. All right. Even trailing. On trailing, stop putting your stop right at wick lows. Give it a little bit of room. It saves you so often. Especially those, again, do what you want. Don't do what I'm telling you, right? Here you go. Read that. When it comes to, you take an entry here, like, let's say we're just like shorting or whatever. We're shorting ES as it's tanking. You do some kind of thing where, on this break, you took a short somewhere in here and then it moves in your direction and then you move your stop to break even, right? And then you always get wicked out and then it goes. Think about that. Like, why would that happen? Well, it's because everybody went short right here. And then so many people wanted to move their stop to break even. So then what is sitting here? So much liquidity, dude. So like, why is that not going to get taken out? This is just a pile of liquidity. So I know it hurts. I know you're going to have to probably, experience some drawdown or whatever, but take your entry, leave your stop up here. If price comes all the way back here, up here, okay, then reassess. But don't be Don't be so just, afraid of some risk. Don't be rushing to move your stop to break even all the time. Again, do what you want. This is not advice, but that alone saves me so many stop outs. If I just leave my stop where my stop goes, and then once price like really starts going and like making new lows, fine, I'll break it. I'll put it at break even. I usually wait for legit 4R before I move my stop. Because this happens all the time, man. Okay. Another problem, oh man, I always take these sick entries, but I always end up selling like right before my target, right? Okay. Couple things, right? Do you have your system? Have you built your system to something that you trust, right? And have you been trading your system? And, for instance, okay, I get long here, right? And I always end up selling like halfway up but my target's supposed to be this area, right? But I always take profit too early. Okay. So as I'm saying, step one is your system. Build your system, test it, trust it. You have to trust your system. If you're trading some system that some guy on Reddit gave you and you don't know any of the ins and outs and you're just trying it and like you don't know any of the stats, of course this is going to happen. You don't trust what you're doing. You just are seeing profit and you're like, oh, I'll take it. You don't know that over time, if you just wait till your targets, you're going to end up making way more money. And that over time, you have positive expected value. You taking your profit early might literally make your system negative expected value. Okay? You just have to stick to your system if it's tested and proven. And if you really have a problem with this, take your entry, put your target, close your platform. Go outside, touch grass. Sitting here and watching tick by tick go by on a 1 minute chart on your trade is going to cause you to have emotions. Like, don't set yourself up for failure. Close your shit, go outside. Don't watch it if this is a problem for you, okay? A lot of the trading problems are just taking yourself out of, it's like it's being an alcoholic and going to a bar. Would you do that? No. Do you have a problem with always selling early? Yeah. Then stop going to the bar. Stop watching every tick go by. Okay? Set yourself up for success. All right. Another problem, which is so prevalent right now. Everyone's getting chopped to death. Everyone's getting their butt handed to them. And why is that? Well, my good friend, the indices are so choppy right now. So choppy. It sucks. I know we have this nice, crazy move today. Love it. Gorgeous. It's actually not gorgeous, but it's just a big move. But like, look at this. What the heck? What are the indices doing, man? They're chopping in a range, right? So if you have some trend following system, you got to be able to recognize this, and you got to be like, okay, this is not my environment. I got to sit this out. I got to look for something else to trade, or I have to not trade. There's going to be so many times where there's no trades for you. Like, this has sucked, dude. I've not had fun. I've been just sitting on my hands, taking a tiny little scalp, sitting on my hands. There's no reason for me to be trading my trend following strategy in here, right? So you can look for something else that might have trend to it, right? But even this is starting to fall apart, starting to get choppy, right? I took a couple losses in here yesterday, right? Where did that go? Yeah, yesterday. And then I started just kind of seeing, like this shit, like just fully engulfing bodies and wiki choppy action. When I saw this morning, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not trading gold today. Like, look for the choppy, the wiki, the small bodies, the long wicks. When you see this, don't trade it. I don't care what it is. Unless you're an expert at ranging, don't trade this, please. It's going to beat the crap out of you. Okay, so you have to recognize environments and sit them out when they suck. 90% of traders can't do that. They're not capable. They don't have the discipline to be like, oh, it sucks, I'm not going to trade today. Because everyone wants to make money every day. Guess what you're going to do? Lose money. So just don't trade. All right, next one. Over trading, right? So a couple of things you can do. One thing is, again, we're assuming you have your system, right? You've back tested your system, right? You know exactly when you're entering, when you're exiting, you know everything, right? You need to potentially, if this is a problem for you, set alerts. Like if your system is, I'm waiting for this high to break or whatever before I take trades. This is completely arbitrary. I'm not telling you it's a good system. You're waiting for this high to break. Cool, man. Don't sit here on a 3-minute watching price action. Set an alert up here for when price breaks this and go outside and touch grass. Because what are you going to do by sitting here watching price action? You're going to think you see a trade. You're going to take it. You're going to take a loss. Even if you take a win, the win's going to give you some false sense of I'm really good at trading, where you just, all that you did was you just didn't follow your strategy, which is literally the only thing that matters. Following your system. Taking good trades according to your system. Not making money. Making money is not what matters. I know it sounds dumb, but I mean it. Your focus needs to be on the system. So if you're waiting for stuff to happen, things are ranging, you're waiting for the range to stop being stupid, set alerts, walk away. Break the wrist, walk away. Okay? Now beyond that, you need to have some sense of daily loss limits, daily profit targets, and it's not like you shouldn't sit here and go, I'm trying to make $500 today and I'm not giving up until I hit $500. That's not the right mentality. Okay. But you might want to have the mentality where if I make $500, I'm done for the day. Okay. Because chances are, and it might be a different number for you, but chances are if you make that $500 and you keep trading, you're probably going to give it back. Right? Especially for me, because I follow trends, right? So if a trend made a large move where I collected $500, what are the chances that trend's just going to keep going? There's a certain point where there's diminishing returns, right? So just take the money, take that $500 that you made in an hour and keep it. Think to yourself, how long would it have taken me to make this money? Oh, I made $1,700 today in 30 minutes. Yeah. Why don't you keep it? Because how long would it take you in real life to make that $1,700? Probably a long time, right? Same thing for losses, right? Even more so for losses. How many times do you see somebody posts a calendar with the P&L and they're like, oh, I'm a good trader, but, for some reason, blah, 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 I take these big losses, blah, 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 whatever. And you'll look at their calendar and the biggest numbers on their calendar are loss days. And it's like they're making $300, $400 consistently a day. And then they have a red day where they lost $1,700. Then they make $300, $400 consistently a day for 2 weeks. And then they have a day where they lose $2,500. If that person just cut out those big loss days, they're extremely profitable. And that's true for most traders, And because in our heads, we're like, oh, I've come back from a loss so many times, I can just do that every time. You can't. You definitely cannot. Okay? So if you can just eliminate those big loss days, chances are you're going to be profitable. If those $1,700, $2,500 days were just $250 losses every time that happens, that guy's raking it in. So you just have to be so diligent about that. Like, ideally, you want something that has, risk parameters. Like if you use Rithmic and you're trading prop firms, built into Rithmic is risk parameters. You can make it so that when you lose $250, they lock you out. Do that. I know you don't want to, but do it because you need to have the long-term mentality. What you make or lose in a day does not matter unless you blow your account. You know what I'm saying? You got to have the long-term mentality. How did you do for the month? That's what matters. How did you do for the year? That's what matters. Not what you did today and tomorrow. Okay? You got to last. You got to last. And of course, if you don't have that tool that will lock you out when you make your targets or your loss limits. You need the discipline, or you need an accountability partner. You know, you lose a certain amount, unplug your keyboard and give it to your girlfriend and be like, don't give this back to me and ever until the trading day's over or whatever, you know, something like that. Unplug your computer, give the cord to your dad, you know. Cool. So that's overtrading. So you keep blowing accounts. Listen, happens. Everybody blows accounts. I don't care who you are. Anyone who's a trader has blown loads of accounts. Blown loads. What's your size like? Size the flip down. Again, we're assuming you have a tested system that you know works, that has positive UV, right? Does that system sometimes have drawdown periods where you take 10 losses in a row? It does? Okay. So does your account have the sizing ability that you can withstand 10 losses in a row without blowing it? If the answer is no, then you're size too large, right? Sizing down helps most of these problems, and people just don't want to do it because they want to make more money. And that's the wrong mentality. You have to be focused defensively. You got to be focused on how much you're risking. If this trade doesn't go well, how much will I lose? What will that do to my bottom line, right? Trade defensively. Be aware of what you're risking. Size down, please. Please, dude. I bet most of these people would pass their evals and stuff if they just sized down and stopped trading minis. You shouldn't be trading minis. If you're watching this video, stop trading minis. Please. All right. I think that's probably good. Please ask questions. Please tell me you like the video. You can subscribe if you want, but just tell me if there's something you want me to make a video on, or if you hated this, or if you liked this, or whatever. Dared. Thanks so much.